What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Derrick Brencher, SportsView360.com, covering some college football today in the SEC as Caleb DeBoer is now 2-0 against the LSU Tigers since coming into the conference last season. Tonight they beat the LSU Tigers by a score of 20-9 to improve to 8-1 on the season, 6-0 in the Southeastern Conference. LSU drops to 5-4 in the season and 2-4 in the SEC. This was also the debut of Frank Wilson as the LSU's interim head coach. He took over for Brian Kelly, who was fired 2 weeks ago. And tonight, a lot transpired in regards to LSU. Garrett Nussmeier was benched and was replaced by Michael Van Buren, MVV. And me, the results were adequate. It's just sometimes these teams that make these head coach changes during the middle of the season. Sometimes the team will have that be vibing. They'll have that they call it an interim boost for like a couple of weeks, and then they'll like reality will start to set in, and after that they'll pretty much replace that head coach, that interim head coach. LSU that didn't happen tonight. For the Tigers, maybe having the next couple of games, but tonight it just didn't happen. It was just kind of a repeat of what we have seen all season with LSU. Can't be dominant in the trenches. Defense does enough to make the games close, but overall can't hold it. Throughout the entire throughout all 4 quarters. Couldn't run the ball. Couldn't run the ball. Couldn't pass. Couldn't protect. But Garrett Nussmeier, to me, I think this is way overdue, long overdue for Garrett Nussmeier to be benched. Because he has not been good this season, and you can blame it on Brian Kelly, um, offensive coordinators, Sloan. He's fired now, but this was overdue. This bench should have happened. Garrett Nussmeier should have been benched a long time ago, in my opinion. But he is benched now, and now Michael Van Buren takes over. Me personally, I don't think Nussmeier is going to get the job back, in my opinion. Going forward right now is all about evaluating this roster, see what you have in Michael Van Buren, get the bowl eligibility, and go from there. But Garrett Nussmeier should not be the starting quarterback of the LSU Tigers for the remainder of the season. It should not go to Michael Van Buren, in my opinion. Harlem Berry saw some flashes out of him tonight. 66 yards on 12 carries. Thomas had 49 yards, on 5 receptions. Harry Perkins had 1 sack. He also led in tackles as well with 9. So it just, to me, man, it's just um, Alabama could have been beaten tonight if LSU had better quarterback play from their pass of the night. It just didn't happen. Alabama is right now. I think Alabama is just one of those teams that um, has a lot going for them right now. A lot of things are bouncing their way in a lot of these games that they played recently. And most likely they're going to play for the SEC championship game. And I think regardless of what happened, I think they're pretty much locked up. In regards to the college football playoffs, I don't see a collapse happening anytime soon. But it is what it is. But LSU um, quarterback play put them in this position tonight because I think they had enough. They have enough talent to hang with Alabama. It's just that your defense, making plays out there, but you're not getting any help from your offense. That usually leads to um, losses. You know, it does. And I don't know. I don't think Frank Wilson is going to be head coach of LSU. Next going into next season. Just get this stuff over with and find a really good head coach. because there's no way that LSU should not. The 2019, I think, is 2019 is the only year that LSU has been in the college football playoffs since they've started this up in 2014, 2015. LSU has only been to the playoffs once compared to the other powerhouses in the SEC. Georgia, your Georgia, Alabama's. LSU has not been into the playoffs. Only one on that one time they did that. The time that they did go, they won the national championship. That has to change for the LSU Tigers. As for Alabama, this is a familiar spot for them. This is nothing new. Last year, you had Caleb DeBoer going into his first year. Um, down had a down year, but to Alabama standards, a 9-4 season. That's a down year for Alabama. This year, very much different. You got working with Ryan Grubb, offensive coordinator that you're very familiar with and working in past stops. And play calling is much better for Alabama. Play calling is much better. Ty Simpson is a big time QB. This is his first year under center at quarterback for Alabama. So he has been, pretty much spot on so far. And according to these odds out here, these odd makers think that Ty Simpson is going to be the first overall pick. We'll see. But Alabama, everything is bouncing their way right now. Everything is bouncing their way. Defense is making the right plays. Um, Ty Simpson is making the big time throws out there. So I expect them to be in the playoffs and an SEC championship game. And I wouldn't be shocked if they make a deep run into the playoffs. You know, because it's crazy because not too long ago, like the first after the first week of college football season, there are people out there, talking about buyouts and what it's going to take to buy out Caleb DeBoer's contract, and it's just all kind of nonsense after 1 week. And then after that, ever since then, it's been Alabama has been on the roll. They've had some close games, but that's what good teams do. That's what great teams do. You can't blow everybody out, especially in this the current landscape of the SEC. But Alabama is in the right spot right now. You know, so I expect them to be one of those teams to could possibly be standing, to win a national championship. One of the last teams standing to win a national championship, but we'll see. So there's that. But LSU, back to the drawing board. Like I said, I don't think Garrett Nussmeier should be the starter for the remainder of the season. Hand those reps off to Michael Van Buren. Let's see a little bit more from Harlem Berry. Caden Durham was in pretty much a man. Caden Durham only had 3 carries for 4 yards. Just when you got a bad online, this is the type of things you're gonna get. Bad online. When you bad in the trenches in the SEC, you will not win a lot of football games. If you're bad in the trenches on both sides of the football, on the offensive and defensive side, you will not win a lot of football games. I don't care what type of speed players you have on the perimeter, what type of quarterback you're gonna have. You will not win a lot of football games, and that's what pretty much is doomed LSU is up for the season we're in right now. So that has to change immediately. That's need to be the top thing that the new head coach addresses the trenches. So we'll see how that'll play out, man. But tonight, Alabama wins 20-9. Caleb DeBoer is now 2-0 over LSU in the rivalry. So that's all I have for y'all for right now. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a blessed night. Peace. I'm out.